But
And we are live.
we will call to order the April 3rd meeting of the Upper Macungie Township Board of Supervisors for a general business meeting, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With a little bit of discretion, as I always do, as we get started tonight, we've just come through, as a community, Ramadan. We're entering into a lot of other religious holidays over the next couple of weeks, making sure that we take the moments and the time to spend time with our family and our friends, to reflect on who we are and where we are. So for me, we'll start tonight with just taking a moment to be thankful that we're able to be here together tonight to work on the business of the township, and having a little bit of grace and gratitude for where we are. So if we can take a moment, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. We've done section 1. We are on to section 2, additions, deletions to the agenda. I don't believe that we have any. Is that right? We're good?
Correct.
We can move to item 3, which is the minutes and the financials. I'm going to make a motion to dispense with the reading of the meeting minutes from the general business meeting held on March 6, 2025, adopt them as presented, and to authorize the payment of the bills for the month of March in the amount of $3,745,188.95. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. It doesn't appear, Bob, do we have any presentations tonight?
That's correct.
Moving to number 5, which is discussions and updates. We have a facilities evaluation, a continuation of our conversation from last month with Alloy 5. Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last month, Alloy 5 was here to present the results of a facilities evaluation study they did for all the municipal buildings, Public Works campus, and 3 fire stations in the township. Since then, staff has been meeting to go over it, to kind of sift through that data. We've actually met again a couple times with Alloy 5. We definitely don't have any recommendations to present to the board tonight. We can only continue to do our due diligence and work through that and be prepared to at least report back next month to the board, but hopefully have some type of timeline or some type of recommendations on how we'd like to proceed.
Okay. So since we met, just to restate and make the meeting last unnecessarily longer, since we last met, internal staff review of the Alloy 5 presentation, coming up with some ideas as to what is and is not possible, necessary, or needed.
Correct.
And those staff reviews include Mike and Pete, as well as, I guess, Scott. He doesn't talk at meetings, but I think he talks elsewhere.
A little bit.
Okay.
It's also trying to, I would say, get more specific numbers or at least lower the range. That was a very high level look. But what are our engineering costs? What would be design costs? Where can we fit all these things? All stuff that has to be taken into consideration and weighed out before we just say, yeah, let's build a new building somewhere.
Okay. I don't mind having a selective approach to this as we spend money forward. Sonny or Jim, any questions or concerns about that?
Not at the moment. Thank you.
Nothing more to add.
Any public questions or concerns or comments regarding staff continuing to meet to discuss a presentation from last month? I hope not. Seeing none, we can move on. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
There are no ordinances this evening, so we'll move to resolutions. Section 7A, Resolution 2025-19, recognizing Local Government Week. Jasmine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Every year, Pennsylvania General Assembly designates a certain week as Local Government Week. This year, it has been designated for April 14th through the 18th. We are also going to be holding our 3rd annual Local Government Day here on April 16th. It will be in the parking lot as well. We will be sending out some email blasts as well as putting it on Facebook, similar as we did last year. We'll have all of our departments there as well to answer any questions, or so you can meet who's actually, here for you and doing the work for you as well. So this would be just a motion to recognize Local Government Week, which will be held April 14th through the 18th.
I make a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-19 recognizing Local Government Week from April 14th to April 18th, 2025.
I'll second that. Questions or concerns? Jim?
No, sir.
Sunny?
No.
Jazz, on the April 16th, that's a during the daytime event, yeah?
That is going to be from 4 to 6 p.m.
That's a Wednesday?
Yes.
And that's here or?
It's going to be here in the parking lot in front of the township building, similar to what we had last year where we had Scott brought over some trucks and we had Citronia bring over an ambulance. We had Parks and Recreation there, so we'll all be there, and it's going to be right here in front of the building.
We had some
Fire
trucks and some police
And police.
cruisers as well.
And
yeah.
police as well, yes.
It's a good opportunity for the public to come meet and discuss issues with your local staff and your local
Can we have
staff,
a dunk tank for the chief or no? Oh,
just for you.
National Night Out.
And the children actually enjoyed that last year as well.
Was it this event where they kept hitting the sirens?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was nice. With that, I think we can move to vote. All those in favor of the motion to recognize Local Government Week, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? That passes. Thank you, Jazz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Resolution B, 2025-20, the fee schedule update. Well, whoever wants to take it, George or Ryan G.
I can take the revisions to the on-lot sewage disposal fees. We've provided a proposed revision to the fee schedule. The biggest change as far as narrative goes is we're going to no longer offer actual on-site testing for applicants. In the past, there was an opportunity to have the municipal engineer do the actual testing. We feel that there's a conflict there as far as doing the testing and approving it. So we're cutting that back to we are there to observe the testing. There's been an update to the fee schedule. The estimated hours to complete each task has remained the same. However, the fee has gone up $17.50 an hour. So from $117.50 an hour to $135 an hour.
And that's reflective of current fees from HRG, yeah?
Correct.
Ryan, do you want to chime in and we'll do a single motion on these?
So this is the recreation portion, just clarifying language in our fee structure that all entities must pay rental fees regardless of nonprofit status. The exemption of, and we updated the second part, wording update to reflect 501c3 religious institutions, organizations, and their affiliated entities from churches, all within Upper McCutcheon Township and the Parkland School District. So the only entities exempt from the fees, Parkland School District, and religious institutions, organizations, and affiliates that are within the township.
I'll save us from those awkward conversations last month where Jim, Sonny, and I are contributing to some of somebody's park fee.
yes,
Correct. We
sir.
want to be more clear in the wording.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-20, authorizing an update to the fee schedule for Section J, recreation rental, event, and general fees, and Section L, on-lot sewage disposal fees.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jim. Questions or concerns, Sonny?
No.
Jim?
No, sir.
Anything from the public on the fees? Perfect. Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to adopt Resolution 2025-20, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, George. Moving to motions. Motion A, authorizing extension of time to record docket 2326 Carriage East. Andrew.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a request for an extension of a residential subdivision that was initially approved in February of 2024. It involves, I believe, a 10-lot single-family home subdivision. At that time, there was some delay in getting the agreements together, namely related to trying to map out stormwater controls, and they were being placed on private lots. Everything got under control. We had everything ready to go, but at that time, the property owner slash applicant marketed the property for sale, and they now have that under agreement, and we're looking to provide an extension through August 6th of 2025 to allow the new property owner to enter into the developments and have that transferred to the purchaser of that project. And staff and consultants are in favor of this request. Everything's ready. We just now have to change the agreements to the new owner. And the applicant's here. I don't know if you have anything to add, if that summarizes everything.
Let me get the motion put on and then I'll get to you. Is that all right? I'm going to make a motion authorizing extension of time limitation for the recording of docket 2326 Carriage East ending August 6, 2025. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jim. Now we can do it.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Chris McLean from Fitzpatrick, Lentz, and Buba. Thank you, Mr. Shantz, for the summary. I really don't have anything to add to belabor the point. We're here if you have questions for us, but as Andrew said, we're basically on the 1 yard line, ready to push it in, to use a football analogy, but just thought it made sense to do it once with the new buyer versus do it once with the current applicant, and then immediately shift gears to swap things out and assign documents just for efficiency's sake.
We've got through closing, Chris?
Pardon me?
The property's closed, the subdivision sold, or?
It is not closed yet.
Okay. Do we have an estimated time for closing?
60-ish days.
And we think with the closing 60-ish days from now, August 2025, still going to be a reasonable time to get everything recorded from there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And it's just, we got to revise the LCA and all the other
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Yeah, LCA, we need the agreements from them, have our cost estimate into them. And as Mr. Shantz said, just swapping out some names and updating cost estimates for you guys. It's about a year old, so we've got to tweak the numbers, make sure they're current and accurate.
But you're doing that now.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
that's ongoing.
So the 60 days for agreement of sale, and you think that's 5 months to get to August 2025. We're not going to need to continue it out again.
I really hope not.
Good. Me too. Senator Jim, questions for Attorney McLean or anything about the motion itself?
You want to go first?
No, I'm good.
Okay, yeah, it's been a year, so I'm just basically asking for clarification, and I'm glad we have two members of the planning commission here because you guys might remember too. Now, my recollection on this property that there was some stormwater issues where the basins crossed property lines, and I guess there was some concern about who would maintain them and whatnot. Is that a fairly accurate representation of what happened?
I believe the basins are on individual lots, but there are easements required for stormwater to get from lots, and I'm not using these specific lots, but 1, 2, and 3 to the basin on 4, as an example. And that's what Mr. Shantz alluded to. We had a number of communications with township engineer and with Mr. Shantz, figure out what's the best way to do this, what's the best way to document it. Got through all of that, then got the exhibits and all of those things prepared, and so,
Okay.
yeah, we've worked through that.
And I can add to that, not that it's for a discussion this evening, but I have talked to the attorney representing the new buyer, and they're proposing to undo all that and have a community association step into the place and be the party responsible for all that, which is, in my eyes, a lot cleaner for the township. To handle.
Okay.
So that's going to be resolved.
So
That's going to
the-
be handled administratively.
So the plan then is to have an HOA manage that.
It
those
may
10
not be
lots?
a true HOA, it may be a community association limited to the maintenance of those facilities.
Okay,
And establish the easements and rights to entry and all of that.
all right. Because
So
I
it's a lot
remember,
cleaner.
I remember reading something in the review letter. I think it did reference an HOA. But you're saying,
Yeah, now there is that community association going to be proposed, but I just had conversations yesterday about this. So I think there's some ongoing conversations with the new proposed new owner. And that's part of their due diligence, I think, in processing this.
okay. So based on all of that, you guys are satisfied that we won't be, The liability will not fall on the township.
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right, that was my clarifying question.
All right. Any other questions from the public regarding this matter? Perfect. Seeing none, we can move on to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize an extension of time for the recording of docket 2326 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's it. Thank you,
very
Attorney McLean. See you next time. We are to motion B, authorizing expenditures to support the Upper McConchy Township Fire and Rescue Company Station 57 staffing program. Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the formalization of Upper McCounty Township Fire and Rescue Company and the beginning stages of the staffing program, we're asking the board for authorization to move funds from the Recruitment and Retention Fund over to Station 57 to assist in paying those staffing fees and some other small ancillary fees to get the organization up and running.
I'll make a motion to authorize the use of recruitment and retention funds to support the Upper Macungie Township Fire and Rescue Company Station 57 staffing program in the amount of $50,000.
I'll second it. And I'll answer the phone. Questions or concerns? Honey.
Just to clarifying, so is this just to get it started? I mean, what's the long-term plan then for staffing?
So this is figured for quarterly fees.
Okay, so every quarter we're going to be doing this?
No. When we developed the 25 budget, we didn't specifically mention Station 57 in any of the item descriptions.
Okay.
So to belt and suspenders this, we're coming to the board and specifically letting them know we're not actually moving money from fund to fund. There's money, this money is in a fund, but it was never noted to be spent at Station 57. It was only noted to be spent for recruitment and retention and the staffing program.
Mm-hmm.
We're just doing a housekeeping here so that the board's fully aware that we'll be using some of that money to support the staffing program at Station 57, not just recruitment and retention at the 3 other stations.
You almost didn't have to do this.
Almost did not.
Yeah, you
It
almost
was
did not.
debatable.
Understood. So, and I'm just going to replay what I heard. I mean, there's not an impact to the budget. It's just moving,
Correct.
moving one to the other because we didn't have it in the official budget.
And actually, we're not moving one for another. It's staying in the same account.
Yeah.
We're just including 57.
It's just-
as
It's just
as a
making it
user.
clearer and more proper, that's all.
Thanks for the clarification. All right.
Any other questions or concerns from the board? General public? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize the use of recruitment and retention funds to support Station 57 from that $50,000, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Pete. Motion C, authorizing the purchase of lockers for the construction of the community center. Mr. Griffith.
So this motion is to approve the purchase of lockers in the amount of $134,500 from Builders Door and Hardware. They are a CoStarz vendor that we received a quote for. This would be for 168 lockers and installation throughout the locker room facilities at the community center. This vendor is also currently was awarded a bid on a different part of the project and is currently on site with that project. And the project that was the product that was spec'd out fits our needs in terms of sustainability, durability, and local vendor.
I'll do it. I'll make a motion to authorize the purchase of lockers for the Upper Macungie Township Community Center in the amount of $134,500 from Builders Door and Hardware. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Questions? Sonny.
I'll be honest with you. I'm struggling a little bit with the unit cost. It's almost $800 per locker. And I know it's a CoStarz bid. Do we get any other? And this is a question I didn't get a chance to ask
No.
you earlier. Do we get any other quotes, or is this the only one?
When the lockers were originally put out to bid, we received 0 bids back, which is why we went to the CoStarz avenue.
Okay.
But Ryan, you did check another vendor.
Yep.
That was 135,000
Correct.
something.
Not including installation.
We also looked at,
Not including installation.
The
Not-
other
Oh,
vendor-
it did.
the
Okay.
other vendor.
we did look at Granger, and their cost, not completely equal to equal, was at about $125,000. So for the type of lockers we're getting, we're in the ballpark.
Remember, it's got to be installed at prevailing rate wages as well, which
No, yeah,
drives that number up.
the installation is 7,500, so that's not, that number doesn't
No,
bother
but-
me as much. But yeah, no, and I know they're high density polyethylene lockers. They're not metal. They are really nice lockers. I mean, I actually went on the website, but I'm still choking a little bit on the price. That's why I asked the question.
Understood.
And with the price, Bob or Ryan, are we still, how is it affecting how we budgeted for this in the overall project?
I had put, I think, about 140 or 145,000 set aside in our overall budget. It wasn't part of the awarded bid package, but it goes along with security, cameras, phone, data, all those I keep a separate track of with separate contracts.
Okay.
So conceptually, it's within the budgeted amount for what the lockers were supposed to be, a little bit, just a wink and a nod underneath it.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else, Sonny?
No, that's it.
Questions or comments from the community regarding this matter? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to authorize purchase of lockers for the Upper McCungy Township Community Center, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Ryan. Motion D, updating the Upper McCungy Township Community Fund bylaws. Bob?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The community fund did a bylaws update just at the beginning of the year, I believe, if you recall. The one thing that was kind of missed in that update was the definition of a founding partner had a specific monetary contribution tied to it. The fund felt it was best that the qualifications and the definition of a founding partner should be up to the fund based on not just the monetary value, but the other contacts,
Intangible.
yeah, the intangibles that sometimes can come along with the right partner. So they're just asking to basically call a founding partner as defined by the board of directors. I have no objections to that. It gives the fund the opportunity to manage the fund the way they see fit.
I make a motion to approve an update to the bylaws allowing the Upper McCungy Township Community Fund Board of Directors to define the term of founding partner.
I'll second that. Questions or concerns, Sonny?
Yeah, I guess I have some concerns with this because it leaves it to be quite subjective in terms of the monetary, donation, and how do you qualify contacts and other intangibles? And my concern honestly is that it keeps on lowering the entrance to that, to being a founding part, to have that classification. If the issue is that some of the partners don't want to make that donation, maybe an alternate route would be to give another classification. Like when you make a donation, there's different classes of donators. Maybe that's a better approach than to make it so subjective that it tends to. I'm worried that that's going to lower the amount of money that could possibly go to the community center. That's my concern.
Okay, I'll respond in a couple ways. One, if someone wanted to give $500,000 instead of $1.25 million, we'll find a way to make that money come in. Keep in mind that on the board of directors of the community fund are included representatives of the current founding partners. So if they don't want to cheapen what the founding partner means, they have a significant say in how to define what benefits are coming in and what titles are being levied on future donors. So there is some self-control here.
Checks and balances.
And that was part of the reason of naming those founding partners on the board. Second to that, one of the concerns from the community fund is donors to a project like this don't necessarily want to have a number splashed about publicly. They may want to make a donation without having numbers revealed. And if we have the number in the bylaws and call someone a founding partner, there becomes the assumption or becomes the understanding of what that number is. And that necessarily undermines what some people may want to be a little bit more anonymous about how much money they have and how much money they give. Traditionally, in nonprofit giving, you don't levy the number out loud so as to allow corporations or individuals to maintain some anonymity or some discretion as to the number. So that also goes into this. But also keep in mind that the community fund's sole job is to raise money for this community center. Our sole job is to take it from them and use it. That's sort of where the bylaws are built this way so that we have a little bit of control in making sure it doesn't go rogue. I don't think this is going rogue as much as giving them more access and control over who they call what. I don't think it's going to stop someone who wants to donate $250,000 or $2 million. A name won't do that. The benefit that we provide them gives them the leverage to donate.
Okay, so maybe I'm misunderstanding it this way because you said a couple of times that it's the founding partners that define it, but here in the way this is written, it's the board who defines it.
But they are on the board. They have a vote on the board.
Oh, so it's okay.
The current 4 founding partners have votes on the board. They have representatives on the board. So they do have some say and some
So they don't
control.
have to approve this.
They can always fight back
Mhm.
and say no. And they have a vote, and they have the ability to sway other members of the board to have a vote. I don't think amending it, my personal opinion, and I will say I'm on the community fund board as a representative of this board. I did not vote on this, knowing that I have to vote again tonight, but I don't have a problem with giving discretion to the board to how they want to name and how they want to identify a partner. I've had a conversation with Bob that if you weren't there when we shoveled the dirt back in September, you probably shouldn't be a founding partner because you weren't coming in late.
Right.
But let the fund have that designation. Let the fund play with the money. Because if someone wants to give X dollars but really wants to be a founding partner, if they want to take it, what does it hurt us if we call them a founding partner or a moondog spot? Let's take their money and roll with it.
And the original people involved had to vote yes to do that.
Yep.
To begin with, so.
I don't mean to dominate your question, Si. I'm hoping I'm helping to answer it.
No, and you did help clarify a couple of my concerns, but that was my initial reaction. But I didn't have the history that I know you were on the board too, so
Yeah.
you have some perspective that I don't have. But when I read it, that was literally my first concern: are we watering down the significance of founding partner? If like somebody says, I only want to give 50,000, but I'll give you my Rolodex. What does it do to the classification?
Well, for us sitting here as a board, I'll take their Rolodex if that's what they want to give us because that puts money in the pocket so we can build this building. I don't think it's going to discourage people from giving money. It just allows the fund board a little bit of discretion. And ultimately they're
All right.
trying to raise as much money as possible.
And I dated myself by using the word Rolodex, but all right.
I thought you said Rolex, but you said Rolodex. Well, we'll take
No, it
their
was
phone
the-
too.
Well, maybe the Rolex I could understand.
Yeah.
It's a nice
I
one.
don't, we won't take Rolodexes in lieu of money. Jim, any comments or concerns?
No, sir. you
Anything from the
covered it.
community on this subject? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the update to the bylaws of the Upper McConkey Township Community Fund Board of Directors signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, thank you.
Motion E, authorizing the use of Lehigh County Authorities Test and Seal Sanitary Sewer Lateral Rehabilitation Project bid. God, could that be any more verbose? to
Yeah,
you,
well.
Bob.
It's a sewer thing.
Mhm.
So this is also part of the township's yearly I&I program, inflow and infiltration reduction. 2 years ago, we partnered with Lehigh County Authority on this same bid. Worked out well. We're just asking again to go into this program with them and Upper Milford. I do have a not to exceed amount only because you can't just say each lateral will take 5 pounds of grout.
X amount, yeah.
So it goes by quantity, and we just measure our progress based on budget. And LCA's engineering firm, Arcadis, is really good at keeping track of things for us. We haven't gone over budget in the past. And the low bidder, Vortex, is currently working with LCA in the city of Allentown, and they're extremely, extremely happy with them. Very responsive, very high quality of work. So
I'll make a motion authorizing the use of Lehigh County Authorities Test and Seal Sanitary Sewer Lateral Rehabilitation Project bid in the amount not to exceed $1.2 million, conditioned upon the LCA Board of Directors awarding the bid.
I'll second that. Sonny.
Just a clarification. Just because I'm reading this, and it seems a little weird. It says impacted finance is not applicable. Current balance 1,500, 1.5 million. That's the balance in the So you say not applicable because it's in budget.
It's in
Is that what
budget.
you meant? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, got it. I was,
Anything else?
Nope.
Took my question, Jim.
I'm good.
Anyone from the community have questions about the very smooth flowing Lehigh County Authorities test and seal sanitary sewer lateral rehabilitation project? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion that I just talked about signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes. I don't want
Thank
to
you.
say it again. Motion F, accepting the resignation of Jason Cryer from the Parks and Recreation Board. Ryan.
Yep, thank you. So Jason Cryer, member of the Park and Rec Board, submitted his resignation. The Park and Recreation Board accepted his resignation at their March 20th meeting. His term is set to expire on 12/31/2028, and the Board of Supervisors accepts all resignations from volunteer boards.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Park and Board Recreation member Jason Cryer. Anybody want to second that?
go ahead. You want
Yeah, I'll second it.
Someone
Okay,
should.
sure.
Any questions or concerns? Sonny? Jim?
Yeah.
Do we have a line on a replacement, or is that the next step after we say you can leave, we can start working on who can come in?
As the next step, we do have a list of those who've expressed interest, and we will reach out to that list and get started.
Any questions or comments from the community on this? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to accept the resignation of Park and Recreation Board member Jason Cryer, signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, that passes. Thank you, Ryan. We're to motion G, granting Sergeant Stephen Marshall badge number 14 an honorable discharge. I'll note before we get started that we have, before we met tonight, we've concluded an executive session where we had discussion concerning one of our police officers. And as a result of that executive session, do I have any motion?
Yes, I move that we grant Sergeant Stephen Marshall badge number 14 an honorable discharge from employment due to an injury which permanently prevents him from performing the essential duties of his position as defined in Section 812, subsection 1 of the Police Tenure Act.
Motion's on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Sonny or Jim?
No, sir.
Any discussion from the community on this motion? All right. Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to grant Stephen Marshall an honorable discharge, say aye. All those opposed, nay.
Aye.
Aye. Sonny?
Aye.
That passes. Mr. Marshall receives an honorable discharge from employment effective immediately. The township will notify Mr. Marshall and his collective bargaining representative about this decision. Are there any other motions based on this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, in light of the fact that the injury for which Mr. Marshall has received benefits under the Heart and Lung Act is permanent as a term used under the Act, I move that we discontinue the benefits that he has been receiving. In accordance with the procedure under the collective bargaining agreement with the Police Officers Association, Mr. Marshall received at least 10 days of notice of the township's intent to discontinue his benefits, and he has not requested a local agency hearing before the Board of Supervisors or its designee to challenge that action.
Thank you, Jim. That's a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Sonny, any discussion? Jim or Sonny?
No.
I'm good.
Any discussion, public comment on the motion? Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to discontinue Mr. Marshall's heart and lung benefits, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Marshall's heart and lung benefits are discontinued effective immediately. Township will provide notice for the action to both Mr. Marshall and his collective bargaining representative. Thank you, Jim and Sonny. We're to motion, is that?
Aye.
Motion I, thank you. Authorizing fire police assistance for 2025. Pete?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have, on the list, there is 8 fire police events that we typically, prevent fire police or have fire police assisting at those events. We're looking for approval from the board to allow the Upper McCundy Township Fire Police to assist at the 8 events.
I'll make a motion authorizing fire police assistance for 2025 to the 8 events. Is there a second?
I
Oh,
second.
go
Look at
ahead,
that, we
Sonny.
got several seconds, a third even. Conversation. Jim?
I'm good.
Sonny?
No.
Any questions or comment from the community regarding utilizing fire
Sonny
police?
seconded, yeah.
Seeing none, we can move to a vote. All those in favor of authorizing fire police assistance for 2025 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that passes. And this might be a record. We are I know. Section 9, Board and Staff Reports. The monthly department reports are available at the back of the room, have been posted to the township website. Are there any department managers who have anything specific they'd like to announce? George, from engineering.
We continue to meet with staff on engineering issues. We've met regarding GIS mapping, agricultural services, assessment of the VSAP plan, zoning, roadway assessment, municipal complex, construction inspection transition, part 2 of that ongoing transition, Green Light Go and Argyle grant projects, and program management. So we've been busy, and we continue to push the best we can to help make the township a better place.
I'd like to ask a quick question.
Please do.
The transition has been going smooth between you taking over. Keystone's been
There were a few
cooperating.
bumps, but it's smoothed out nicely now. Yes.
Good.
Overall, I think it's been a good process.
Okay, good.
Good. Andrew, legal.
Okay, I had one question.
wait, sorry.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Just waiting for my turn. Have you guys had any involvement at all in the ordinance rewrite we're looking at right now?
We have had preliminary meetings with the township staff on that, and we are bringing in one of our planners to help rework those ordinances.
Okay, great. Glad to hear. Okay, thank you.
Andrew.
And maybe just to tag on to that, myself and Meredith and staff and consultants are continuing to work on the zoning ordinance, and that's branching now out into, we're still working on the official map or maps, and then also going to be revisiting the draft of the Parks, Recreation, Open Space Comprehensive Plan. So we're still working on that. It's a process, but we're making progress.
Awesome. Yeah, and just maybe to add on that too, I know that the draft is out. It's on our website. I think it's also on Facebook. I know there's an open period, so I would encourage the residents to review it, to give input. All right, thank you.
And it'll be on our agenda next month for board review of that.
Yeah. So any input? I know a lot of people have reached out to me on some issues, and I encourage them to provide the input through that process. So just a quick reminder to people, if they have input, that's the place to put it in.
Andrew, any other updates on legal?
That's all that I have.
Great honor and privilege to look at Meredith Keller and ask if she has any updates that she'd like to provide from the planning department.
I feel like my updates were given, but I'll just expand on them a little bit because we are working on the official map, the SALDO revision, and the zoning revision. So with the official map, as you know, the Parks, Rec, and Open Space Plan is out in draft form. And so part of that will become the official map layer for Parks, Rec, and Open Space. So we're working with Simone Collins. We've been working with them for a few months on this just to identify parcels for various reasons, future park space, open space. So that's in the works, and it's pretty well resolved. The zoning ordinance, we're still slogging along with that. Andrew has been working with us to refine our definitions and our use tables. We're going to be writing our regulations, continuing to write our regulations. So it's a long process. We're moving forward.
Excellent. Not like you guys are doing much there, just rewriting every ordinance that we have. So thank you for your work. We appreciate it. And welcome to night meetings.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you. Cal.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Jazz.
I do have a couple things. First, we did have an executive session at 6 p.m. today, and the topic discussed was personnel issues. On that, I wanted to just touch base that we continue to maintain above an 80% engagement rate with all of those email blasts that are going out. We actually had a 2% increase from last month, from 86.8% to 88.8%. Our recipients from 58,434 increased to 69,173 with 9 bulletins sent. Our app is doing very well. There's going to be changes going into there. When we launched last month, 32 minutes after we launched, we got our first service request. So we haven't had any others, but it's working. These word of mouth. We're going to keep on blasting that information out. But I will say that since last month, we have 603 downloads. So the app is being used. I have gotten feedback from residents and surrounding communities saying that they're very happy that we have this tool. They have accessed it. There's going to be changes to it. If you have any ideas that you think may benefit, something that you may need, I may be able to work some things in and incorporate it. Please feel free to reach out to me as well. Other than that, and the open house on April 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. here in front of the township. Make sure you come out and hang out with us a little bit. Other than that, I have nothing else, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jazz. Thank you for your team and all the work that you guys are doing and making sure that we are as open and accessible as possible. That goes a long way, and it's noted and appreciated what you're doing.
Absolutely, and we'll continue to do so.
I'm going to skip Sunny, I'm skip me, skip Jim. Bob?
Just one thing. Normally, the PSATS convention is in April, but every year that there's a Pennsylvania primary, that's moved to May. In the board's notebook, we just received the PSATS resolution that Jasmine will be voting on. It's there for your consideration. Probably will be an agenda item next month as we did last year. So just so you're aware, it's buried in your notebook there. Take a look at them.
Thank you, Bob. Mike?
No, sir.
Wow. Okay. Police is running so smoothly that no comment is necessary. Pete?
Yes, sir. In the next few weeks, we're going to be opening the registration for this year's Junior Academy. This year's Junior Academy is going to be the week of July 14th.
Okay. Well, I got you. I'm going to make a formal request while we're on the record that we're coming up on the need for our annual meeting with fire with 8/25/56. So I'm going to ask you to start gathering some dates for the May meeting with a focus on, I guess we've narrowed into the question of what can you do to help Station 57 and the future of fire services in Upper Macungie. Making sure that 8/25/56 that we're focusing forward, not backwards, not sideways. And we'll try to have that date available at the May meeting at the worst so that we can announce it here, but hopefully we'll have it well before that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Ryan?
I'm just reporting on our spring events and programs. Almost all of them are full at this time. Our summer camp and CIT program has less than 10 spots left available as of this morning. Our next upcoming big event is our Bunny Hop Trunk or Treat event on Saturday, April 12th at Lone Lane Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I would talk about the Comprehensive Park Open Space Plan, but that's already been talked about. Public comment is open until April 9th, and Simone Collins will be presenting to the Park and Rec Board on April 17th. Staffing for summer camp is going very well. A lot of returners and consistency coming back from last year to this year, and we are almost finalizing and working on our camp coordinator position, which was in the budget for this year, to free up Emily to work on other programs and have this person solidify that summer camp program with some new offerings. For the Park and Rec Board meeting back on the 20th of March, we talked about winter restroom facilities, tennis court conditions, continue to progress with working with the Lehigh Valley Cricket Club on a home here in Upper Macungie Township, trail markings of the San Trail and various park conditions. We're also updating on the various SPYA projects such as the concrete walls and sport lighting that are progressing nicely. We had a resident give a presentation about a pet supply pantry project they would like to present to us, and then just general overview of upcoming events we have slated for the summer.
I will say that while Sunny has people talking about a rec plan, I have a lot of people very thrilled that we're working on a cricket program for the summer and giving them an opportunity to have a place to play. So thank you for your team and your staff and helping put that together. There are a lot of very happy, we'll call them cricketeers for the moment, looking forward to utilizing our facilities and hopefully figuring out a way, if everything works out well, to have a permanent home for the Lehigh Valley Cricket Club here in Upper Macungie. So thank you. The fact that everything is full, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Michelle or do you have a question?
Well, actually, you stole my thunder a little bit on that because it's okay. You told me when But I actually got similar feedback from residents that there was an intense interest in cricket.
Yep.
Hopefully that'll
Hopefully it'll work.
materialize. Yeah.
Michelle or Bruce or both?
Nothing from finance.
No, sir.
I already know what this answer is.
Here's a surprise.
We can
Ready?
Give it a swing.
You
Ready?
can try to surprise us and say something.
Scott from Public Works.
Yes, this Saturday, April 5th, we have the paper shredding event at Grange Road from 9 to 11, rain or shine.
Now, is the paper harder to shred when it's raining, or is it easier to shred when it's raining?
Since out of truck, it should be the same.
Okay, so even if it's raining, bring your wet paper, and we'll shred it up for you. Anything else from Public Works, Scott?
No, sir.
Sonny?
So, the only other thing I want to add is I'm going to be joining you guys at Bunny Hop this year in my own vehicle, but with plenty of candy. So if anybody wants to give me a hard time or bend my ear or whatever, I'll trade you candy for that.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I don't even know what to say. I'm going to say no. Jim?
So I do have, part of me hesitates to do this because it should be done, but we as supervisors do pay attention to the Facebooks and the Heatherfield posts and there was one post in particular that came up this week where apparently we had a resident have her 10-year-old boy riding on the bike path at Lone Lane, and an older individual stopped him and leaned over and whispered in his ear, "Get his blanking bike off the trail and go home." Can we encourage those individuals to call you and
Sure. I mean, we
I-
always encourage everybody if there's any sort of conflict, concern, threats, obviously best course of action is call the police. Let them be either the action or the mediators in those events.
if that's truly happening and by some slim chance you're watching, just call the non-emergency number, and or if you feel it's a threat,
Correct.
call the emergency number. That's all I have.
And for me, it's Chag Sameach for those who celebrate. Happy Easter for those who celebrate. Enjoy your time with friends and family. We can move to public comment, courtesy of the floor. Does anybody have anything they want to add tonight? Lovely. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Sonny seconds. All those in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye. Aye. None opposed. We are adjourning at
7:49.
7:49.
It's a world record.